Hello and welcome to the 6th edition of our Investment Insight series, Magellan Minutes. My name is Jennifer Herbert, Head of Listed Funds at Magellan, and today I'm joined by Adrian Lu, one of the investment analysts in our tech team. We'll be discussing Chat GPT and implications of this new technology. Thanks for joining us, Adrian.
Thanks again for having me, Jen.
Adrian, there's a lot of hype around Chat GPT. Could you explain to us what it actually is and how it works?
Well, I haven't seen this kind of mainstream buzz around a new technology in such a long time. Chat GPT is an artificial intelligence or AI chatbot that was developed by a company called OpenAI. Have you had a chance to try it yourself, Jen?
I absolutely have. I think it's amazing.
It is ridiculously amazing. And I suspect many people listening to this will have had the chance to experiment with it because it's publicly available. But for those who haven't, Chat GPT can take a text-based prompt. This could be a question or some other request by a user and generate its own response to it. And that's why we call it generative AI. And what it can do is it generates this response and it can carry the conversational logic forward. It's like having a conversation with a real person on the other side. You could ask it to summarize a report, write you an essay, write you a new song, or even just have a conversation about philosophy, right? So it's really quite impressive. But as impressive as it is, the real breakthrough here is the technology that it's based on. So, and look, to be fair, there's been a lot of breakthroughs to get us to where we are today, but the breakthrough I'm referring to is there's this innovative new class of deep learning architecture called the transformer. And it was actually Google who introduced this technology back in 2017, actually. So prior to the transformer, people were already building these huge text-based artificial neural networks called large language models. Now, it was the transformer that allowed us to really speed up and build larger and more sophisticated models. And that's exactly what OpenAI has done. So Chat GPT is just one manifestation of this, but it's one of many, I think, future potential applications. So we're going to see I think a flood of ideas out there coming to the fore, from the wacky to the astounding. So watch this space.
So what do you think the implications of this new technology are for the world and for society?
Well, that's the big question here. And it's one that people, institutions, governments, companies, investors like ourselves are constantly evaluating. And it's one where I'd say, our views are by no means static. And that's because, well, firstly, we're still so early. Chat GPT has only been out for about 6 months. And we're only seeing the emergence of what's really possible with it. But it's amazing that we've come this far. I'd say, secondly, the rate of innovation is just so fast. And we're seeing this massive pipeline of new ideas coming out from startups through to large companies around what's really possible with this. So we have to keep up with a lot of change. And then thirdly, I would say that, it's one thing to draw direct implications around what's possible with generative AI like Chat GPT, whether that's improving the productivity of knowledge workers or creators, or automating customer service, or even, improving patient or healthcare outcomes or educational outcomes. But depending on how this all gets used, there could be significant second or third order impacts and beyond, right? Just second or third order effects that many which we still need to sort of tease out, both positive and negative. So what does it mean for economic productivity in aggregate? But what does it mean for the potential displacement of a skilled human labor, right? What does it mean for the social risks around misinformation or fraud? What about cybersecurity? What about national security, right? Or what about just making huge step change breakthroughs in healthcare or sustainability, or truly democratizing education for all around the world? And then how do policymakers really get in front of this in a way that's proactive when we're still really trying to understand the technology and what it's all about? Personally, I'm a technology optimist. I believe that technology and AI can really help us to solve some of society's greatest challenges and really move humankind forward. But I do think it's really important that we need to understand what we're working with here and manage the risks around it.
Finally, what do you think the implications are for Alphabet and Microsoft, which are two of our significant portfolio holdings?
Well, Microsoft actually, believe it or not, have a direct ownership interest in OpenAI. And Chat GPT runs directly on Microsoft's own cloud infrastructure. Now, Microsoft have actually embraced this opportunity with open arms. And they've been really nimble in integrating some of these AI features into their product lines. I think Microsoft see this as an opportunity to really leverage their scale and incumbency into a first mover advantage. In fact, even before Chat GPT, Microsoft were already actively integrating AI into products like their GitHub developer service. And since then, you would have seen that they've integrated Chat GPT into their Bing search engine. They've also begun recently rolling out generative AI capabilities into their Microsoft 365 product suite. So, I've been really quite impressed at Microsoft's innovation velocity here, and I think it does present some interesting new market opportunities, particularly as we think about Microsoft's future growth. You also asked about Alphabet. I think there's also a lot more to come from Alphabet, and they've been, you could say, criticized for being on the back foot and falling behind OpenAI. I don't fully agree with that criticism. Microsoft, or I should say, Alphabet, have had their own internal Chat GPT-like model for at least a couple of years now. Don't forget, they pioneered this transformer concept. They just chose not to put it out to the public. They just felt that they wanted to spend more time really improving it. So since that time, they've really put a lot of effort into bringing a product to market. And so I think that we should see more to come from Alphabet in that department. Of course, we're constantly evaluating what all of this means to Alphabet, particularly as it pertains to their core search advertising business, whether that's its market share or the unit economics. For example, how do the chat modalities fit into search use cases, and can we monetize that as effectively as traditional search? One thing we have seen so far, at least observed to date, is that Microsoft, for all of its efforts in Bing, doesn't appear to have taken any material market share away from Google. And you could argue that it's really early, but you could also take this as early evidence that Google really has a strong position in search. But ultimately, I see Alphabet as at the absolute cutting edge of AI, and I'm really excited to see what they have in store.
Certainly very interesting. Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you, Jen.
And thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to the Magellan distribution team, and feel free to share this update with clients and colleagues as you see fit. Take care.